Okay, so it's Frank here with 4D Honeybee, just dewinterizing my last hive here. And the plan calls for me to have a good look in the hive and hopefully find a right laying queen. Now I'm not sure about my ability to do that with my two hives so far. Hive number 1, which is actually the first hive I did, which is hive number 3 over there at the far end, was really nasty. They were all over me, stinging, biting, being nasty. So all I did there was I gave them a mite treatment. I took off the winterization kit and trying to normalize the hive a little bit. Then I went into hive number 2 and they were much happier, but there was a family of mice living in the lower brood box. They had taken it over. So for that one, I removed the lower brood box. I got rid of the mice. I reduced the entrance. I set them back up. They do have some good nectar stores. They're making away on the pollen patty that I gave them, but I'll probably change the bottom board when I come out next and start feeding them. For them, it's a priority to start feeding them because they were weak going into the winter, and now they had to deal with a mice infestation. So, and I mean infestation. That whole bottom box was completely a rat's nest. So here I just need to remove this screw here. And then remove the cozy and get into the hive and have a look. Like I said before, I've been really happy with these bee cozies. Again, I'm the kind of guy that thinks that nature doesn't have their own bee cozies, but we're kind of fooling nature here, right? We're forcing bees into these hives to do more or less what we want them to do on our schedule, etc. So to me, it means that any opportunity that we have to give them a little extra help, we should, right? So look at the pollen they're bringing in already, eh? This is great. It's May 1st. It's our first warm day, like spring type summer day, and we're just starting to get into blooms. And it's not a honey flow or nectar flow by any stretch of the imagination. Dandelions are still a week or two away, but there's pollen out there, and they're already bringing it in. That's great to see. So, okay, let's get this top off. Again, you see what they have had or haven't had for sugar. Right, you can see there's still a ton of sugar there. So they did have a lot of the resource that I gave them, but there's still a lot there too. So I think that's a good thing. I think, you know, it means that they were able to get by on their own and they had a little help from their friend. I'll pick up that candy that's fallen off. I just didn't want to take all the bees home with me, so. Okay, so now we just remove the cozy. A lot of bees will come up with it, but so far that hasn't really been a problem. Take a look at all the bees in there. You know, midway through the winter, I was starting to get concerned about nosema because there was a lot of bee poops all over the place. But when I researched it a little more, I talked to my mentor and talked to the Bee Society, and it was plain to see by the amount of poops and cleansing flights that they were doing that nosema wasn't going to be a problem in this hive. So I'm very happy about that. Let's get the smoker going a little better here. Smoke them up. Again, you can see here, I'm not really intent on moving anywhere. Here I use these Home Depot paint stir sticks as a bee space for them, so that they could get at the candy, which was directly underneath here. The candy weighed down the candy board that I made, but they were able to, but because of the spacers were there, they were able to access it without problem and without squishing bees. So that's another thing that I did that I'm very happy with. The one thing that I would change is the way that I put the wood chips in. Kind of meant that they were always falling on the bees. You see all the wood chips in there? It would be nice not to have that, right? Because the bees had to take it out of their hives. It's just more work for them to do. So one thing I'll probably do next year, next fall and winter, find a better way to hold the wood chips without just letting them sit loosely on top of the bees. These bees are starting to get not happy too. They're starting to come at me pretty good. So we'll just let the smoke do its thing and hope that at some point they realize I come in peace. I'd rather not go in pieces. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's see what we got here. I got the feeling these bees are not going to be happy. Lots of sugar candy here. I'm just going to drop the sugar candy into the hive because they can still use it. And again, any sugar candy that they don't consume, like I'll probably take this big chunk home, I can just melt and turn into sugar water, which I will be feeding them soon. Okay, so looking at this top box, first thing I'm going to do is actually split open the bottom box and look for swarm cells. This was by far my strongest hive going in. And it still is very heavy with honey and resources. That's great. So if any hive of these three I'm expecting to swarm, it's going to be this one, because it had a ton of bees and a ton of resources going in, and it probably still has them. So I'll be interested to see if we can spot any swarm cells right off the bat here. Okay, I am seeing larvae, I'm seeing brood, I'm seeing drone larvae in there too, but no swarm cells, which is great. I'm going to pull a couple of these cells here. You can see there's a big concentration of bees over here. So if I were to suspect the queen would be anywhere, it would be right in here, right in there. So, you know what? While I've got this box open, I'm going to put down the mite treatment, so that I know it's done, just in case things go bad and I don't get back into that lower brood box. Lots of pollen on these bees. It's great to see that they're already getting pollen. And speaking of pollen, I put a pollen patty in here and it is gone. 100% of it is gone in 8 days or 9 days. So that's amazing. Let's see how far I can go in this inspection before they get too upset here. More smoke than I like to use normally, but again, being that this is the first one of the season, they're not used to me, I'm not used to them, and you just get a feeling after a while, wow, that first frame is just so jam-packed with honey, I barely move it. You just get a feeling after a while when you think they're going to attack, right? And these guys are getting in attack mode, I can tell. The first hive did it right off the bat. The second hive was very docile, especially considering they were living with a family of mice. Still can't believe that one. And this hive started off fine, but they're starting to get worked up. Wow, this frame is really heavy. I suspect heavy with massive amounts of honey. This guy's got a big glob of honey on his mouth. He doesn't know what to do with it. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, just chocker-blocked with honey. Wow, that's beautiful. So, I'm not concerned about stores in this hive. I would like to see some brood. So you know what, I'll leave this out. I'll go through a couple more frames and see how they're doing. If there's a hive that I'm going to split, or if there's a hive that I'm going to try to focus on just making honey, it's probably going to be this one because it is so strong. hard to get a figure in edgewise because there are so many bees. So I'm just going to make it a little easier on myself and use a frame puller. Because while I'm not getting stung, which is currently the case, I do want to continue the inspection. Here you can see another honey frame. Really good shape. Now here's a frame that looks like it was honey, but it looks like it's actually empty on one side. It'll be interesting to see what's on the other side. Come on guys, get out the way. Get out the way. I don't want to squish you. I don't want you to get upset. You should be happy with this. Okay, this is a pretty empty frame on both sides. It's not a bad thing. It means the queen has room to lay, right? So that's frame number 3 after 2 full frames of honey. So it's not bad. Yeah, they're starting to hit me pretty good here, so just want to remain calm, right? Like I'm still a rather inexperienced beekeeper, but I do know that getting nervous and swatting things around and doing that kind of stuff does not help you, and it doesn't help the bees. So just trying to stay calm here. Another frame that's pretty empty, and I would expect to start to see brood here on some of these middle frames now. Wow. The other thing about doing your first inspection of the year is that things are glued pretty tight with propolis, right? It's a good thing that it is a warm day, because if not, it'd be pretty hard to separate all this stuff. Propolis gets soft and you can work with it. Oh yeah, here we go. Look at that brood frame. Beautiful. Lots of pollen around. You can see some eggs, some drone comb along the bottom. So I'm not going to go any further. Obviously a very healthy hive with a good laying queen. I'm going to get these frames back in, and then I'm going to look at the second brood box here and just make sure there are no rat's nests in there. And then I will also give the mite treatment for this hive. And for this hive, I think I'll do the same treatment actually. I'll do the half treatment for 21 days. So one quick strip for 21 days. Now this one, I got the feeling I might end up pulling the strip a little sooner because it's going so strong that it's going to want to swarm soon. And I want this hive, I want to either split this hive or make it a honey producer hive. So we'll see how that goes soon too. Wow. Frame just chock-a-block full of honey. Tough to get in because it's so jam-packed. Okay, let's space these guys back up. And then, okay, let's see. I'm going to put this upper lid back on because I guess there's nothing else that I need to do in this top box. And then I'll just take a look in this lower box again and get that mite treatment in. And then that's it for this very eventful inspection. I hope I can piece together the videos